and welcome to No Such Thing as a Bad Movie podcast. I'm April Hitmansky, and I'm here today with...
Justin Niclot.
And Colin Cunningham.
And today we're talking about...
Da-na, da-na, na-na, na.
Oh, yeah. A famous film series that we have not touched on at all, maybe never even mentioned on this podcast before.
The Harry Potter series.
Oh, yikes.
Oh, no.
That new movie, that's supposed to be bad. No, we're talking about James Bond, and maybe my favorite Bond.
The very unproblematic James Bond series.
Yeah. Well, actually, I can't say my favorite Bond because I've seen hardly any Bond movies, to be honest.
I'm surprisingly not very passionate about James Bond, even though I've seen a lot of the movies. Mm-hmm. I think it has to hit at a particular age where you go, this is what cool is like.
I think so, yeah.
That bakes into you. Because I have friends that are big James Bond heads, more than one friend, and it just kind of hit at that specific age. And I don't think it just ever did for me.
I think so. I mean, for me growing up, my parents were huge Bond fans, so I would they would take me to the theater to see all the
They
Roger
dress you up in a little tuxedo, and they're like, you're James Bond now.
Yeah, so I saw, all the Roger Moore was my Bond growing up.
It's me, James Bond.
And so Sean Connery was first.
Sean Connery was first, and then George Lazenby had a one stint run.
One movie, okay.
One movie, which apparently is good. I've never seen it.
It's good.
On Her Majesty's
Very good.
Secret Service.
And what's really funny about Roger Moore, I checked, he was 59 years young when he made his last James Bond movie.
A View to a Kill.
Yeah.
And my God, he looked so much older in that movie.
He looked so much
It's also
older than
like,
that.
was that the 60s or 70s?
That was the 80s.
That was the 80s?
Yeah.
Well, okay. Well, then, I was going to say, but you know how everyone just looked older in the 60s and 70s,
No,
but 80s?
He looked ancient.
That's pushing
He
it.
looks like your great-grandpa,
Yeah,
cosplay or
he
a
looks
Make-A-Wish
he's,
Foundation.
He's wearing a wig, and he's with God, was it Tanya Roberts was the girl in that movie? And it is like, you want to call the police. It's like, this man, this is
She could be his granddaughter.
He said, and I think he was always more self-aware. I liked Roger Moore a lot, and like how he kind of thought of Bond. And he said there was a moment on set where he met Tanya Roberts' mother, and he was much older than her.
Yeah, so
where he
could
thought,
be her
this
grandfather.
is awful. I should not be Bond anymore. And I think he retired after that.
He was probably like 10
Do you
years older
think
than
he
her.
retired on his own accord? They probably just dragged it out of him. He's like, no, I want to keep being James Bond.
I'm not sure he even wanted to do that one. And yeah, he just said it was kind of, that was the moment that was like, oh God, this is actually disgusting. I have to pack this in.
So was then there just no Bond movies
No,
for the
Timothy
rest of the
Olyphant.
80s?
There was Timothy Dalton.
Timothy Olyphant.
Timothy Dalton.
Timothy
Dalton.
Okay, I don't even know who this is.
Timothy Dalton had one great movie. I actually liked him quite a lot as James Bond. The second movie, I think it was License to Kill. I didn't like it very much. There was like a whole thing with people fighting over the rights for James Bond at that point, and I think that was his last movie, and there was quite a gap before Pierce Brosnan came in.
Yeah,
Remington Steele himself.
Yeah, so GoldenEye was like 95?
Yeah, it was like...
Or earlier. It was around there.
Around then, yeah. So I think
1995, you were right the first time, April.
All right.
they wanted Pierce Brosnan for The Living Daylights, which was Timothy Dalton's first movie, but he was...
There's a Bond movie called The Living Daylights?
Yeah, that was the first...
These names.
I'm going to blow your mind. April is a movie called Quantum of Solace.
Yeah, that's pretty bad too.
But he was under contract with this TV show, Remington Steele, and he couldn't get out of the contract, so it kind of worked out better for him, I think.
Well, you need to have like a break in between these these Bonds, I think, and then like there was only 3 years or something in between this movie and Casino Royale.
It was 4.
4. Okay, but that's still not that long. So just quickly, my history with Bond is I didn't really watch it. I didn't watch it at all growing up. Maybe I've caught like a little tiny bit here and there, like on television, but I never really watched it. I never saw any of the Pierce Brosnan Bonds. I watched Casino Royale like with my friend at her house once, but we weren't really paying that much attention. And then when the pandemic happened, me and Colin decided to rewatch all of them and like Casino Royale is like amazing.
Casino Royale is my favorite Bond movie.
When
no
I say
comment.
all of
me
them,
too.
I mean the Daniel Craig ones.
Oh, I mean all of them.
Yeah,
Like-
I mean all of them too. Yeah,
No, I'm just saying like we watched all the Daniel Craig Bonds.
yeah.
And they're all great. I mean, that Quantum of Solace has its issues. But I really liked Skyfall, and Casino Royale is an amazing
That's
movie.
awesome.
It's
That's just a
really
great
freaking
movie.
good. And I think Daniel Craig's great.
He's my favorite Bond, and I think he's made some of my favorite Bond movies.
Yeah.
And then we started rewatching. I'm like, hey, let's watch the Pierce Brosnan movies.
Yeah, so that was just like a month or two ago.
Started with GoldenEye and kind of went from there. So we've seen them all.
No, we missed the
Except
third
one.
I haven't seen The World Is Not Enough
Which is
yet.
the most boring of all the
It
Pierce
is
Brosnan
really
films.
boring.
And so GoldenEye, not bad.
It's okay.
It was a little boring. I was a little confused
Well,
what
here's
the
the thing,
plot
April.
was.
James Bond films are boring. Almost all of them are. Really boring. They're all
Yeah.
like 2 hours and 20 minutes.
Oh, really?
All of them, yes. That's like their thing. Except for Quantum of Solace, which is 90 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that movie's more action-y, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't remember anything about Quantum of Solace except for like that whole movie was like had like a yellow sheen on it and the guy fake sweeping the broom. I remember that.
That is a famous scene. Oh my God, it's so funny.
That was funny.
Look it up online. There's like a scene of Daniel Craig on the motorcycle on like a dock. And he's like looking off screen, and there's like
There's a guy sweeping.
a dock sweeper behind him, and he's sweeping like 6 inches above the ground. I guess they didn't want him to kick up dust into
He
the
was
shot.
put there by the effects team, and they screwed up the perspective of it. That's what happened.
What? No.
No, that's not true.
It's a fake guy.
Yeah, he's CGI. He's so photorealistic.
The brush
you can't
was
tell.
CGI, and they just hired a very bad animator.
Yeah, but I mean, but Pierce Brosnan, I think is great. I really liked the second one, the Michelle Yeoh one.
Tomorrow Never
Yeah,
Dies.
then it's like that's like a more like rounded movie.
It's a little more fun. Yeah, like I think it's a better movie. GoldenEye kind of shocked me because I remember it being the best of the Brosnan.
It's
I'm
all right.
It's really boring.
Yeah.
Mostly why I just remember that video game.
Yeah.
I was bothered by the scene where he kills a bunch of innocent guards when he's escaping from. He's like at an embassy or something like that. He's just like mowing them all down with his machine gun.
Yeah, that's what I found like rewatching the Pierce Brosnan movies is that the action scenes are basically just him running with a machine gun and everybody just shooting willy-nilly like everywhere with a machine gun. There's no real like rhyme or reason to
Yeah,
anything.
I mean, well, because you can't compare it to like the action scenes in the Craig era.
Yeah.
It's two completely different.
It's a different
things.
era of action, I guess.
That being said, I do really like the action in the Brosnan ones, and I like the what was it called? The Michelle Yeoh one.
Tomorrow Never Dies.
Tomorrow Never Dies.
I like that she's basically like a female Bond. I mean, there's always a female Bond, but like she
She's
has
not
like her,
your regular Bond
Yeah.
girl.
she has like well.
Does Michelle Yeoh have sex with Pierce Brosnan in that movie?
She does
I don't
not.
think so, but they make
It's
out
kind of
at the
implied
end.
at the end that
For
they're
real?
they're on
Yeah.
a boat.
Well, she has like her own like
Layer of,
layer
like,
with all this shit in it,
the
and she's
weapons.
like a Chinese like super agent. It's pretty cool, and I love her, and like it was fun, and I like bad guy typing.
Oh, God,
on his
he's
little
so
thing.
over the top.
Like
Jonathan Pryce.
yeah.
See, the reason that James Bond hasn't really lived up for me in the recent years is that we already have our new James Bond. He's bald and he's triple X. That's right, Xander Cage.
He's not really doing like gadgets though. Really.
Have you seen Triple X2 State of the Union from the director of Die Another Day?
I haven't. But I also was thinking a lot of like Mission Impossible as well. Like
Yeah.
that kind of is like overtaking a bit of the Bond.
For sure, yeah. It's like the American
area.
Bond. And those movies have really stayed consistently good for quite a
For
long
a while,
time.
yeah.
Well, it's because they hired Christopher McQuarrie and they have him under like a blood oath of some kind, and he can't stop making them.
If Tom Cruise dies, Christopher McQuarrie
Christopher
has to be,
McQuarrie's going to be buried
he
with
has to be buried with him alive or dead.
But anyway, so I missed the third one. But you get to this movie and it starts off pretty good. I'm enjoying it.
It starts off with a wave, and it's like, oh, Chekhov's wave. It's going to come back.
But like this movie just kind of keeps getting sillier and sillier
Yeah.
until it becomes like an enjoyably bad movie.
Mm-hmm.
But That's what I like. And as far as like which one of those 3 movies would I watch again? Probably this one.
This one.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
it's super cheesy. The lines, like the one-liners, are out of control. Even though they're in the other ones, I really enjoy.
It's ridiculous in this one.
Puns. So I liked it, and this movie is a lot of fun. Even though, like, it kind of goes from it's good to no, it's actually pretty bad.
It becomes like an Austin Powers movie by the end, almost. Like it's so ridiculous.
It kind of becomes a self-parody.
Yeah.
So this movie is directed by Lee Tamahori, who's most famous for directing Once We're Warriors, the Nick Cage film Next.
And
The
Along
one where
Came a
Nick Cage
Spider.
wears that crazy wig.
Yes.
And also famously for being arrested because he was dressed as a woman and propositioning a cop.
Yeah.
Yes.
And who cares?
Which is
Leave
neither
him
here nor
alone.
there.
Well, if that's
Yeah.
just how he lives his life, then that's
Yeah.
fine. Yeah.
Once We're Warriors was Tamura Morrison's, I guess, big breakout film. It's a New Zealand film. Lee Tamahori is from New Zealand. So, yeah, there you go. It's so this movie's got Halle Berry, Rick Yoon from the first Fast and the Furious movie.
I don't really remember him in that movie, but he's good in this.
Wasn't he like the evil race car driver in the first one?
I don't remember. Yeah, something like that.
I'm pretty sure he was like stealing
Didn't
DVDs.
Rick Ewan play like some roles in video games? I remember.
I don't know. I'm kind of
Maybe I'm
surprised.
thinking of someone else.
I haven't seen him like more.
Has
Yeah.
he been trapped in TV land? He was in Prison Break for a couple episodes. He was on Marco Polo for 15 episodes.
So yeah, I guess so.
He starred in Alone in the Dark 2.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. He should be doing more things.
He's fun.
It's weird. He's fun. He's like a good-looking dude.
Oh, he was the villain in Olympus Has Fallen and The Man with the Iron Fist.
Oh.
He was the X-Blade in The Man with the Iron Fist.
So
Was
he's
that the one
still
that
working.
Rizza directed?
Oh, yep. Oh, Rizza? You mean the RZA?
RZA.
Whatever.
You call him by his proper name. Oh, he was also in Alita Battle Angel.
Really?
I don't remember
Again,
what role he
don't
played.
remember him. That movie was a little.
Maybe he was like a CGI robot or something.
It could have been.
Yeah, and Rosamund Pike from Gone Girl. This
And
is like
lots
her,
of things.
Yeah, this is like her first theatrical role ever.
Which is great. I mean, she's great. I thought she was good in this. It was kind of obvious that she was a bad guy, though.
Yeah, sure.
But, what are you going to do? And I also love that Judi Dench is M in all of these.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, she's just spanning, like, multiple iterations, cinematic universes, if you will.
Yeah, I think other
Which
than...
leads credence to my belief that James Bond is a code name, not an actual person.
Is that something that people argue about?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
All the time.
Oh.
But it's not. But other than Desmond Llewellyn, the Q, he's like been around since the beginning, like
Yeah.
the Sean Connery ones.
So he was in the first 2?
He was in Sean Connery. He's been in all of them.
He's not in this one.
Not in this one, sadly. He died not of old age in a car crash in between.
What?
Yeah.
Was he like racing like James Dean?
I don't know, but
Is he in all the Bonds?
he was in pretty much all of the.
Holy crap.
He spanned all the actors.
Wait, so is the Moneypenny in this new for the series
No.
of movies? No, she was in previous ones too.
Wait, was she? I don't know.
she was new. Samantha Bond came
Okay.
in Goldeneye.
Her name's Samantha Bond?
yeah.
That's funny.
I know. The other Moneypenny, I think.
She's like, yeah, I've never heard that one. That's like James Bond convention. She said.
The other Moneypenny, I think, was all the way through to the end of the Roger Moore era, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah, when you think about, the 2000s, the cinematic universes, like, we've been doing it for a while,
Yeah, it's not-
it's
Back
nothing
when the
new.
Universal monsters all fought each other.
Yeah,
in,
exactly.
Frankenstein meets the Wolfman.
Okay,
it's old
so
hat. So
Justin,
we have
you mentioned the surfing at the
Yeah, it
beginning
starts
of
on a big
this.
wave. We get our agents, some Chinese agents, James Bond, land on a beach. And this is when we get, the big thing people mention on this movie. Somebody said they could do green screens on this film. And they lied.
Yeah.
like
I mean,
the-
also, like, it's definitely Pierce Brosnan surfing with that helmet on.
It's funny.
That's the thing about James Bond movies, right? Is that they're not doing any of the stunts. That's the joke.
I know, it's just, but you think Pierce Brosnan, I think, was almost 50.
He was 50, I checked, or 49, I think. When he
Yeah,
made
when this movie came out. And
he looks like he's like 59. Though.
he's very...
Like,
listen,
sleepy.
Listen, he is a handsome man.
Yeah, I think he's very charming.
He's looking a little flabby.
He does. He's a little, like I said, a little
He gets
doughy.
out of being tortured in a North Korean prison, and he has the dad bodiest of dad bods. Like, they fed him well, I guess.
Yeah, he's still kind of jacked, but no, he would be like a
No.
rail.
I didn't say he was jacked. I said he was dad bod.
It's just none of the Bonds to me, other than maybe Connery, definitely Daniel Craig, look like they could actually do the things they're supposed to be doing. Like I just imagine Pierce Brosnan surfing, and I'm laughing already. Like it's hilarious.
Well, you see it later on in the movie.
No, wait, that's his avatar, his computer avatar.
So yeah, they arrive in North Korea. They have a mission to do, which involves, it's like every James Bond film, very convoluted. They have to stop a guy who's delivering diamonds. They take the diamonds for themselves.
You always start off with this like crazy action scene.
Yeah, it's like the
mission
cold
that
open.
is sometimes related to the plot and sometimes not. In this case, it is.
Yeah, so he plants. He's got to stop this diamond trade or something like that. They're in North Korea, by the way.
Which I'd never heard of the term conflict diamonds before.
Well, have you never seen Blood Diamond?
Well,
the classic
I have.
Leo DiCaprio
That's
film?
what we were thinking they were, but it's just I've never heard the phrase conflict diamond.
Maybe they
before.
say that in Blood Diamond. I know it was a long time ago I saw that movie.
Maybe they changed the name. I don't know.
Yeah.
I've always heard them referred to as blood diamonds, but well,
Yeah.
whatever. What do I know?
And then Pierce Brosnan, he goes and meets a North Korean general. He's like the son of a general.
Colonel
I believe.
Moon, his name
Yeah.
is. He's the son of like the North Korean general or something like that.
And he's buying weapons outside of his dad's purview. And he's a bad guy. He beats up a guy in a boxing.
Oh, that's really funny.
That was hilarious. He's punching a punching bag and then he unzips it and a guy falls out.
And he's like, that's what you get for telling me I have anger problems.
Yeah, and then he says like, "Get me a new anger therapist."
See, like again, that's like a joke from like a freaking Naked Gun movie.
I don't know. It's pretty funny. But I do love how when Pierce Brosnan meets this guy, he's looking around and there's all these like, Ferraris and Lamborghinis. And Pierce Brosnan, the way he says, "I like your collection of cars."
Collection of cars.
He cannot
Almost
pronounce.
sounds like British or Australian.
Yeah, or like Welsh or something, like you said. But Pierce Brosnan is Irish, and he's always been kind of covering up his Irish accent, But the way he says "cars" here is so funny.
You can't help it.
And I read in what it was like the IMDb trivia that he in the last movie, John Cleese is introduced as R, which is like Q's assistant. And Pierce Brosnan said he was so happy when he was promoted to Q because he can't say R.
Yeah. That would be hard. Hello,
So I was saying that
Talking about Pierce Brosnan is a master of accents. That's what he's mostly known for. Then maybe you should be listening.
that is so good.
I gotta see that movie.
Taffin, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so
Taffin.
good. Yeah, so I did through the whole movie. I just anytime I saw a car, I would just go.
Cat.
So they have a hovercraft chase scene. Here.
Great scene.
I like this scene a lot.
This is the thing is that people always make fun of Die Another Day. They're like, oh, the CG is so bad. And it's like, yeah, the green screen effects are bad.
They
but
are bad.
Every action scene is all practical.
It is
like
actually-
cars crashing into each other, explosions.
Yeah, and those
Yeah.
hovercraft, they're turning upside down.
Yeah.
And I was like, what are these things? They can go any direction, which is really cool.
I think the CG stuff that people are talking about, and I had a really huge change of heart about this movie after rewatching it, don't happen until like the third act of the movie.
It's just
really.
green.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's that like the chase over the snow, really.
Yeah,
that's
I
bad.
think once they get to the ice hotel, that's when things take a turn.
Yeah.
Well,
you
like
know?
we sit there, we watch Marvel movies that are filled with, CGI that wasn't integrated very well because of the filmmakers, and we're like, yeah, we accept this.
Yeah, it's weird. And, watching this opening chase, it's like, holy shit, there's some amazing practical stunts in this.
I remember when this
Yeah.
movie came out too, that people were like, it's so overly edited. I don't know what's going on. And it's like, it feels like very slow and deliberate editing now when you watch it.
They must
Yeah.
be talking about those
Very naive.
transitions. Those like
Yeah, well, those
Zack
are good.
Snyder-esque transitions.
There's
that
a lot of,
go
like, kind of-
fast
yeah,
and
speed
then
ramping.
regular
The
ramps.
speed ramping.
It's not smooth speed ramping though. It's kind of jittery. It has that 90s music video look to it.
Yeah,
Well,
it's
this whole
early
movie
2000s.
is all like early 2000s, so it's like a bleach bypass, so everything's kind of blue.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
trying to spice it up and like give it a kind of hip feel.
And to be fair, like that is the look of that time. And, yeah, we can look back on it and be like, oh, it looks so like outdated, but like that was the style, and all, movies of that time looked at that. I mean, have you seen Charlie's Angels? Like,
Oh, God.
or 1 and 2
Oh,
is the
2.
same thing.
Yeah.
So this action scene ends with James Bond driving the villain's hovercraft off of a cliff, and he jumps up and grabs a bell, and he's like, "Saved by the bell."
Oh God.
And also, we forgot to mention that before that, there's a big explosion in the diamond suitcase, and the diamonds go flying and fly in that guy's face.
Oh yeah. So Rick.
And so for the
Yoon-
rest of the movie, he has to have diamonds in his face.
Diamond face.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's what
he
we
should really
called him.
call himself that or something.
Yeah, so Rick Yoon, he's like got diamonds like in his face and for the entire movie, which makes no sense because they're not inside of his face. They are just kind of
They could
On the surface.
probably be
embedded.
plucked out.
Embedded.
He likes the look, though.
I
That's
guess.
not
It's a
even
cool
true
look.
because we
But
find out
when we
later
get
he
into the-
wants to change his face.
When we get into the plot later, it makes no sense.
Yeah, but it does look pretty cool.
It looks pretty cool.
because it's like diamonds and like there's like lines in his face too.
Mm-hmm.
Before that, we get to a amazing song by Madonna.
Okay.
Die
Well,
another day.
Bond is caught, first of all, at the end of this opening scene.
That's
which is-
right, he is caught.
Which has never
Very
happened,
important.
I don't think, in Bond history.
Maybe not in the beginning.
In the opening credits, he's like, or before the opening credits, so he doesn't escape. So he's
Yeah.
caught and thrown in a Korean prison for 14 months and tortured.
And I like the aspect of the Bond movies that I've seen, which I get apparently in all of them, where you have this cold open and then like something cool happens and then you cut to the opening
he
credits.
drops Blofeld in a chimney stack.
Oh, that was great.
And there's like a music video, which I'm very much into. I like the graphics that are happening in all the Daniel Craig ones, and the Brosnan ones are again of the time, but very
2000 core, if you will.
Yeah, it's very Bond though, with the ladies made of like lava and ice and dancing.
Die another day.
This-
Very good
Sigmund
song.
Freud analyze this.
Oh no!
said.
This is one of the. This is by far the worst Bond song of all time.
See, I think it's actually an okay song, but it's not.
Oh,
It's
this
not.
song
It's
is
not
bad,
a. It's not a
man.
Bond song. It doesn't
Jesus.
sound like a Bond song at all.
Another
Would you
day.
listen to this song on its own?
Well, maybe if I was listening to like a Madonna compilation
Like
album.
Big Shiny Tunes 4 or something like
Yeah.
that?
I always like imagine
I like Madonna's music.
that during the 14 months of torture, they're just playing this song like in the thing. I think that's what it's implying. But it's like they also have animated scorpions in the opening sequence, and you find out that they've been like stinging him with scorpion venom. And
Yeah,
then,
but that's like. It's just in that montage.
I know.
Usually, at least in the new ones,
comes up
Yeah,
later.
the things in the opening sequence are stuff that will be in the movie. Maybe they did that later. I don't know.
Yeah, in Casino Royale, he's fighting all those playing cards.
Yeah.
stuff
yeah,
like
that
that.
was one
Yeah.
of the best scenes of the movie.
we love that scene because it's Chris Cornell, and I'm a big Chris Cornell fan.
Yeah.
Of course, saying that one, You Know My Name, and then was it Quantum of Solace that had the Sheryl Crow?
No, that was Jack White.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's
And
like
Alicia
the
Keys.
quantum of solace.
Oh right. So, but Sheryl Crow did do one.
Sheryl
right?
Crow did Tomorrow Never Dies.
Right. All right. I'm confused.
How does Tomorrow Never Dies song go?
It's
Sing it
awful.
for me, Colin.
Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. And then the world comes away.
The only James Bond song that I know is Live or Let Die.
Oh yeah,
we all know that.
rocking song.
Yeah. I mean, we could do a podcast just on the Bond
just
songs.
on Bond songs. I love them.
Yeah, especially this Madonna number. All right, moving on.
Not very good.
So we cut to 14 months later. Bond is released from this North Korean
Oh,
prison.
what a great spa.
Yeah, I know, man.
He's got a long beard and long hair now. And that's
Yeah,
about
it's
it.
like- yeah,
he's
he-
walking around in like pajamas.
He
Do
doesn't
you
look.
think Pierce Brosnan likes to have that long hair? Because he has it in that King's Daughter movie that came out.
Oh, really?
I think it looks great. I gotta say, he should have it.
Have you seen him recently?
No.
Oh, he looks fucking great.
Well,
he's got
a
just
movie
like
just came out, but I think it was shot in like 2019
Yeah, The King's
or
Daughter.
something.
That's the one
Yeah.
that I mentioned.
Okay.
That-
yeah, but he's
so
got
it was
like
shot like
he's got
10 years ago.
He's got silver hair now, and he's got a silver beard. The guy looks fucking better
Oh
than
yeah,
ever.
because he's in the Dr. Fate Shazam movie starring The Rock, and he plays Dr. Fate in it. And he has like that big mustache in the picture.
Oh,
Is this a movie that already came out?
No,
Okay, I'm confused.
Black Adam is what it's called.
Oh, that's
It's
the
directed
next
by the guy who
Shaz-
did Jungle Cruise. It stars The Rock as Shazam's villain, Black Adam, and Pierce Brosnan plays Dr. Fate, who's like DC's Doctor Strange.
I knew that they were going to get him in a superhero movie.
He's great. He looks fantastic. But it's funny that when we were watching The Mandalorian and then Timothy Olyphant came on as that like sheriff, he looks exactly like Pierce Brosnan now. He's got like the silver hair and he's got like the silver like beard and stuff. It's like, holy shit.
They are one and the same.
It's amazing. Yeah, look them up side by side. It's great. Anyway, so Bond gets out of his spa holiday.
Vacation.
And they basically just release him.
They release him and he has to walk across this bridge and he realizes that the CIA has traded him for Rick Yoon's character.
Diamond Face.
Yeah, Diamond Face. So he goes back to, I don't know if he's in Hong Kong or something, but he's, under the MI6 watch. Judi Dench is like...
Yeah, because they tell him, you're screwed up. You probably told secrets under your torture.
That's like every movie Judi Dench is dressing down Bond.
Every movie James Bond quits or he's let go.
Yeah, he's gone
rogue. Normal
rogue.
missions anymore.
It's like, we need you again, Bond.
I feel like every Daniel Craig movie is...
That's all they are,
He's quit at the end of the movie or he's gone
Or the
rogue.
beginning of the movie.
Yeah, it's like every movie he quits. So yeah, she's like, if it was up to me, you'd still be rotting in prison. It's like, Diamond Face was a terrible villain. We didn't want to let him go. Anyway, so they're kind of like under the assumption that maybe Bond has like told some secrets under torture. So Bond has to escape, and he meditates. I guess this is something he learned in prison. He meditates and lowers his heart rate till they think he's having cardiac arrest.
Flatlining.
Yeah, so he's like...
They're like, well, Pierce Brosnan looks pretty old. I believe that his heart will go out.
Yeah.
But you can tell, though, when he gets out of the bed, he's shirtless through this entire scene, though. It's like he's really sucking in that gut when he's standing up.
Sucking it. He has to stand really like upright.
Yeah. They bring in the paddles and stuff like that, and he ends up escaping, jumps into the water, and swims up to like this hotel in Hong Kong, which it's a really funny
they're
scene.
like,
Your
hello,
normal
Mr.
room,
Bond.
Mr. Bond.
Yeah.
And he's like, yep. And then, a sex worker shows up.
Yeah, and so they're about to get it on, or are they? Because she has a knife, and he throws like an ashtray into a mirror, and there's guys behind them with a tripod and a camera, like they're shooting a porno.
Are they gonna like blackmail James Bond because he has sex with someone?
They don't look like they're spying on him to get secrets. They look clearly like they're about to shoot a porno because
Like
they were
a
about to have
porno,
sex.
Yeah,
It's
they were
James
just
Bond. They know what he's up to.
They were going to release it like the Pam and Tommy tape, man. It was going to be like James Bond sex
And
tape.
he's like, I know your Chinese intelligence.
Yeah.
To the hotel guy.
Yeah, so, but actually this scene was supposed to be Michelle Yeoh. Not this exact scene, but this character. She was supposed to come back, but she was like filming something else.
She was
or
probably busy.
They
And
couldn't
you
work
know
out.
what?
Well, probably better that she
yeah.
wasn't there because this character does nothing.
Yeah, he just sort of gives him some advice. He's like, the guy you're looking for is in Havana, in Cuba.
Mm-hmm.
It was always rumored that Michelle Yeoh's character was supposed to get a spin-off movie.
Well, they always said that.
Yeah.
Like even Jinx was supposed to get a spin-off movie from this.
I guess
They've
they're
never had a female spin-off to a movie.
And I
I'm
wonder-
not
I mean, the
surprised.
Daniel Craig ones, the woman who wants to be James Bond. Remember when Moneypenny picks up the gun? It's like, go back to the desk. Like, no, you're not an agent. It's like,
Yeah, so they said that they were going to do it for Michelle Yeoh or Halle Berry, and then they looked at Charlie's Angels 2, and they're like, see, female-driven action movies can't make money, so they canceled it.
But that
But
movie didn't
what
make
about
money?
Charlie Angels 1 that made tons of money?
Yeah, actually made a sequel, but no, I guess it's like
Well, if
the last thing in their mind is the
Honestly,
second
I
one.
don't think Halle Berry's bad in this.
She's
I
pretty
disagree.
bad.
I think that, well, see, if I'm putting myself in the mindset before I saw Catwoman, if I had never seen Catwoman, I wouldn't mind seeing a Jinx movie.
I just
I
don't.
mean, based on what happens
Shoulder
in this,
shrug?
Yeah.
she constantly keeps getting captured and have to be saved by James Bond.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
but she still gets to do cool shit.
I don't know. I just don't
She's
think
doing
she's
some cool shit.
I don't think she's a good actress. I'll
She's
say
not that great.
Whoa.
Okay, we'll get to the Halle Berry discussion, but she's an Oscar winner.
Yeah,
Sandra Bullock won for The Blind
have
Side.
either
We'll
of you
discuss that
guys
on next
seen?
week's Patreon.
Have you guys seen Monsters Ball?
no.
I saw the
No.
first half.
Too scary.
I only watched one-
Frankenstein, Dracula getting together. No, thank you.
Again,
and dancing?
I only watched half of it, and it wasn't because I gave up on it. It was because it was late at night and I was tired and had to go to bed.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't get to see any of the nudity. Hey, it came out in 2000. I was just a little girl.
And you still haven't seen it since then?
No.
That's the rule? Like,
But it didn't seem like a movie I wanted to watch. It's about Billy Bob Thornton being a horrible racist.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, from what I saw, she was okay.
I've seen Swordfish. She's a great actor.
Can you believe I've still never seen that?
I feel like she's one of those actors
Yes.
that can be good when they have the right director that knows how to, get them to do
Yeah.
Yeah, like
acting.
Cloud Atlas, right? And all that makeup.
I just when she's just with directors that without strong actor directors.
How about Storm?
Exactly.
Yeah,
So
that
they-
You know what
that first
happens when a
movie.
frog's hit by lightning?
Oh,
Yeah.
boy.
Okay, so maybe she's not the greatest, but you know what? I understand why she's a movie star.
Oh, absolutely.
Like she's a celebrity.
Yeah.
She's gorgeous, and
Yeah, what
she's
is a good movie that Halle Berry's been in? I'm looking here.
like that she's good in?
Like she stars in. The Call?
I don't know. The Call is like recent. She's in that Bruce Willis movie that I want to do on the podcast at some point because it's ridiculous. It's her, Bruce Willis, and Giovanni Ribisi. It's like a terrible thriller.
Oh God.
But yeah, a star.
I don't know what that is.
I forget what it's called.
Nothing comes to
It
mind.
has a really generic name.
Yeah, I can't really think of anything. I don't know. Whatever. I mean, she's kind of fine for this.
She's in Robots.
for this type of movie, I guess. I don't know.
Okay, so we're about to meet her, but
Yeah.
before that,
So Bond goes to,
orders a mojito.
Yeah, he goes to Havana, and I like how they seem to work the Bond theme into all the kind of
Yeah.
music when he's traveling. They have the Bond theme and flamenco guitar.
I feel like in the Daniel Craig Bonds, they barely played it, but in this, it's in every scene.
Yeah.
They incorporate it somehow, and I am enjoying it.
Yeah, he goes to Havana. He's under the guy. He's a bird watcher, which is this was a 40th year anniversary movie of the Bond films, I believe. So there's tons of nods to past Bond films in this movie.
All right, so Halle Berry's big introduction, coming out of the water like Ursula Andrews did
Andress.
in Dr. No. Did it seem to you guys like she came out of the water as if it was very cold and she was surprised?
Yeah, she's making a funny face, and I don't even know how to describe it. It's something that you would see in one of those Busby Berkeley musicals where they're splashing around in the water.
She kind of jumps out of the water like a dolphin, her
Yeah.
arms are out.
And she's laughing.
But it's really overacted, like an Austin Powers movie or something. It's wow.
But at the same time, I feel like this is an over-the-top movie.
Sure.
I'm go for it.
Go
it's
for it.
funny.
Yeah, but it's Bond being a bird watcher because James Bond's name was taken from a book that he sees earlier in this movie. Ian Fleming was an avid bird watcher, and there was a book, I don't know, Field Guide to...
By James Bond.
by James Bond. He was like, oh, that's a good name.
So was James Bond I wrote this book in this world. I used to be
Yeah.
a bird watcher.
He kind of
You
picks it up.
don't see the James
You
Bond.
see the cover, but it has a different author. But
Yeah.
he's like, oh, I'm going to be a bird watcher. And he's also watching the birds.
And so does
Along
Halle,
with
By that I mean women.
Yeah.
Oh,
Does Halle Berry
along with Kaz.
does Jinx know who does she know who James Bond is?
I don't know. Who knows?
They just meet up. They clearly are attracted to each other. They have banter, and then they're fucking.
Yeah.
But it's it is revealed later that she's an agent. So you'd think she would know, but I don't know. It's just this thing that's in James Bond movies where it's is he a famous spy or not?
Yeah.
Because people no one seems
this
to
is the
know
thing.
who he is.
Everyone in every Bond movie seems to know who he is and that he's a spy, and he doesn't seem to hide his identity. He's
but
always
he's sneaking in everywhere.
somehow, whatever.
Yeah.
But the bad guy's always he's James Bond, British agent.
Yeah.
It's they're always on.
I mean,
him.
he's sneaking into places in very funny ways, like knocking a guy out, putting him in a wheelchair, and then
That was
pushing
pretty
him
funny.
into the hospital.
That was
Yeah, so
ingenious.
He goes to this it's an island just off where he's staying, and it's a genetic medical center or something like that.
They turn your face into another face.
Yeah, Halle Berry's talking to this doctor.
Very face off.
So yeah, but you can see the progress. He's like, we kill all the DNA in your body, and then can replace it with someone else's DNA and change you into that person physically.
Well, I mean, they did it in that Sean Connery movie where he had to go to
becomes
Japan.
Asian?
Yeah. So there is precedent.
Oh my god!
In the book, he gets hit on the head and he thinks he's Japanese and like lives in Japan.
No.
For a couple
But
of
he
years.
doesn't
Yeah,
look
he does.
Japanese, right?
Oh, have you seen? He clearly looks. Wait, don't they do it in the movie? They give him like surgery.
No, they give him surgery in the movie. We're thinking of
Basically
Oh, yeah, it's terrible.
yeah, and it's all these
really
like
poor
hot
taste.
babes that are giving him surgery, and they give him like Japanese like eyes, and oh
bad.
god, it's so bad.
So in this, it's like a reverse thing. He wants to turn into a white guy.
Oh,
diamond
Rick
face.
Ewan wants to turn into a white guy. It's really funny because there's like a monitor that shows what he's going to be into.
Yeah.
It's like a generic 2000s boy band member.
yeah, but it's like there's like a progression chart, so they show Rick
Yeah.
Ewan,
It's like Animorphs.
and he's sort of. But he's sort of in the middle part, and Bond kind of interrupts his progress. So he's kind of like this albino,
white or blue-eyed.
shaved head. All of his
Weirdo.
hair is like falling out.
Yeah.
I really hope I don't get stuck in this middle phase.
Yeah, but he's still got
Yeah.
the diamonds in his face. You'd think that, you'd want to take those out.
Yeah, because that's a pretty identifiable thing.
But like, if he did the full, progression, would he be a white guy with like diamonds in his face?
No, because then they know it's
Yes.
him, right? I guess he could just wear a
Tim
mask.
Diamond Face.
Yeah.
Diamond face. How will they know I'm diamond face if I don't have diamonds in my face?
Yeah, not clear.
Yeah, it's like that embarrassing nickname you have to explain. Like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, they call me Poopsie because I poop my pants all the time.
Yeah. Okay. I used to have diamonds in my face. I know I don't now, but whatever. It's a nickname.
So Halle Berry sneaks into this hospital at the same time that Bond is in there, coincidentally enough.
She kills the
And
doctor.
she's going to kill the doctor, presumably on assignment. But we find out like later she's after Diamond Face because the Americans want to get him back, I guess.
Yeah. So Bond and Diamond Face have a pretty good fight. It's like a good messy fight.
Where is it? Is it in the? I
It's in
can't
the
even
facility,
remember.
and then
Yeah, because
kinda
he
goes
turns on
outside.
the
MRI
X-ray
machine.
and all the metal's like.
Oh yeah.
Bond grabs the gun. Yeah, it's a pretty good fight. Bond like launches he blows up some walls and stuff like that. It's a pretty good action scene.
Yeah, that hospital gets destroyed.
Yeah, these guards like kind of corner Halle Berry at the top of this cliff, and
then
Oh,
she-
she's like, watch me
She takes her
turn into a CG
she
creation.
Oh
takes
my
her
God.
dress off, and she's wearing a bathing suit, and then
she kind of falls backwards, and it's kind of like a one take shot of her like falling off and changing into CGI.
Now that was some bad
that was
CG.
bad. Okay, but
It's
up to this point,
Creepy.
the movie hasn't been plagued with too much CGI.
I would agree.
There is
some green screen.
some bad CG, like
Yeah, there's some bad green screen. And who would be to blame for that, Colin?
I don't know if it's just the issues with the green screen. I would say in this movie particularly, and I've never really seen this before. Very fuzzy outlines around their
It's
hair.
like blurry.
It feels like they didn't shoot it correctly.
Well,
like either somebody didn't tell them how to shoot it, or
I feel it might have just been like a time and budget thing because it only happens around their heads, and hair is very hard to kind of key off of blue screen. You got to put in a lot of work.
they have like Freddy Krueger hands because they couldn't rotoscope it properly.
Yeah,
so
when
they
you get
have,
into like
claws.
fine hair, especially like in a hovercraft chase where it's blowing in the wind and everything like that, it's very, very, you got to spend a lot of time on
if
it.
you're surfing, as we see later on.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, you'd
I'm
see these
guessing
kind
it
of big-
has to be blurry, or otherwise you would see the blue or the green behind them.
It's just a way to kind of save time and not have to kind of try to key the hair out and retain that detail.
Yeah.
So probably just a budget time thing. That's all I can say.
But anyway, the
it
guards.
sounds like Colin's on
Yeah.
like the stand during a court case.
I'm not gonna.
That's all I can say.
I'm not gonna take swipes at the CG artists because you never know what they were going through.
but it's not
It's
the fault
true.
of the CG artist. It's probably the production themselves.
You never know.
But even
though.
then, it's not necessarily their fault because like maybe their budget got cut and like the producer
nobody's
was
fault.
saying we got to get this now. Well, yeah, again, like it's hard to. I mean,
It
you've
could
been on
just-
film sets. It's hard to really place blame on one thing. There's
Yeah, it could have
usually
been.
a
Even
bunch
if it
of
was
things.
filmed perfectly, you can't say what schedule they had or.
And there's also an uncanny valley feeling to some of the CG stuff that comes later on, like Bond surfing.
Oh boy! Oh boy!
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God!
Where it's like you couldn't do a good version of that. It would be
No,
impossible.
no.
So
Not at the time.
Not at the time, definitely
yeah.
not.
But even now, you would just know it was a green screen behind
But the
them.
thing is, like, that was in the IMDb trivia. It was that whole windsurfing scene was Lee Tamahori's idea. So it was something that he insisted on, and it was just like, you can't do that well at that time,
No.
Especially with...
Hey, they pulled it off in Escape from L.A. Why can't we do it
Yeah.
again?
That's what April said at the beginning before we watched the movie. Okay, is it as bad as Escape from L.A.? And I was like...
I mean, it's the same.
It's a different kind of bad.
Exactly.
It's a classic, like when you think of green screen stuff, we're getting ahead of ourselves.
Sure.
That's a little teaser when we get to it.
Yeah, well, first, okay, now we're introduced to Gustav Graves, which is...
Yeah, because we go to London. Cue London calling needle drop.
Oh, my
Yuck.
God.
Can we stop doing this now, please?
Oh, my God, yes.
Somebody's parachuting into Buckingham Palace. He's got the...
He's got a Union
he's
Jack
got the Union
parachute.
Jack, which is a nod to the, Roger Moore
Okay.
scene. And
See, I need you to point out these nods to
yeah,
me. 'cause
so there's tons of them. This is the bad guy played by Toby Stevens, who I don't know from anything else but
He's
this movie.
mostly
No, me
done
neither. I was
British,
looking at
British
IMDb.
stuff. He played James Bond in a British radio play, I believe.
Yeah.
And there were like 8 of these movies.
That was like later or something.
It is later.
He has like a main role in Michael Bay's 13 Hours.
Really?
He is the dad in Lost in Space, the show that nobody
Oh,
watches
no
that plays
shit.
on Netflix.
Yeah, apparently that show was good. But
He is...
I don't know anyone that watches it.
It's
So.
very
like
weird.
one
I
person.
love him in this movie. Like he's so...
he's
so
awesome.
hammy.
He's so
and-
cheesy, but he hams it up to like just the right level where it's not...
And they even reveal it at the end. He's like, I'm just trying to be a James Bond.
Yeah.
Like, that's the joke.
Yeah, which is appropriate for this like Bond anniversary. This kind of like shadow Bond.
Yeah, he's supposed to be... They based him on like Richard Branson. He's like this billionaire
Okay, I can see that.
That's
adventurer.
exactly who he is.
Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, he's landing. This is like his entrance. He's going to be knighted by the queen that day, and he's like, "It's a great day to be knighted." But he has this sneer smile, which is so funny and cheesy. I was laughing so hard.
Yeah, he has like really big teeth.
And right away, we go to him fencing.
Yeah,
They set it up. He's like a Olympic fencer.
yeah, he's trying out for the Olympic team in fencing
Yeah.
or whatever.
We get to the fencing house.
It's like a fancy fencing club.
Yeah, and so Madonna shows up. As we do know, she did the theme song.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think she? Do you think she demanded? Can I have a role in
Yes.
it? Then you can use my song.
100%.
Okay. So during this period, and I think I may have mentioned this on the episode we did on her movie. What was it called again? The Guy Ritchie one?
Oh, Swept Away.
Yeah, that Guy Ritchie at the time said that sleeping beside Madonna was like cuddling a piece of gristle.
Yes, gristle. Which is
I
not
thought it
nice.
was beef jerky, but I looked it up so I could have the facts.
It's gristle.
Well, it's just funny because it's like it's a cameo and like yeah, she did the song, but we mentioned Charlie's Angels 2 earlier, which is around the same time. Basically, the exact scene happens in that movie, only it's Pink instead of Madonna.
Oh.
They go to a motocross area and Pink is the like
People get them confused all the time.
Pink is like the running the race that day. Is a terrible actress. She can barely get a line out, but her song is like playing in the background, non-diegetically. And so it's just weird. I was like, was that just happening all the time in that at that era?
I guess 100% she demanded to. She's always wanted to be an actress. And
Who,
she's,
Pink?
No, Madonna.
Madonna.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Madonna making Pink is making huge demands.
Yeah. Hey,
What is Pink up to these
she's
days?
still an artist. She's still making pop songs. She used to be much better in the 90s or in the early 2000s. Anyway, this
What is her hit? What is Pink's hit?
I'm coming up, so you better
yeah,
get
that's a
this
fun
party
song.
started, and many others.
Lady Marmalade with.
She was in that as well.
She was one of the 3. But
There
yeah,
was 4, technically 5.
Madonna's character in this movie, I don't know. She's like the instructor, and she's like, "I'll introduce you to Gustav Graves." This is a fantastic fight scene.
I
Great
absolutely
fight scene. This
love
is
it.
excellent sword
This
fight.
is amazing, and I'm like, why aren't all the other action scenes this good in this movie?
And like, it's not only well choreographed. I think it's shot well. I mean, for an American or British action movie, right?
Yeah, but it really escalates, and the music it just keeps building and building and building, and it just keeps getting more and more and more intense and desperate.
And also like the swords.
They're just causing so much destruction in this
They're
place.
grabbing a different sword every like 5 seconds.
Yeah, it's like they eventually like grab broadswords at one point, and they're just swinging at each other.
They
like,
got samurai swords.
Yeah, they're just so angry and
Like,
pissed
care
off.
to make a wager.
Yeah, but
First one to draw blood on the torso. And Pierce Brosnan's like, I got a lot of torso.
Yeah, he's got a lot more torso.
yeah, I gotta say this is my favorite thing in this movie. It's a real standout scene. It's very fan. It's just
Okay, so we got
great.
Colin's favorite thing. April's favorite thing is that song at the beginning. And now I still have to pick
I still
mine.
think it's an okay song.
Oh God,
Maybe not my favorite thing, but I don't know.
I do love one detail about this. They're fighting, and then at one point they slash the painting. It's the Boy in Blue, I believe it is. It's a famous painting, but yeah, they slash it, and then at the end, after they've all dressed and they're leaving the club, you can see in the background all these people bringing up like new artwork and new chairs to replace like everything they destroyed in the fight. It was really
This
fun.
happens all the time.
It's like, oh, I can't believe it's happened again.
Yeah.
Bring the Mona Lisa to replace the Boy in Blue.
And like Rosamund Pike is in the scene because she's like Gary Graver's
Gustav Graves' assistant?
Gustav Graver's assistant.
Miranda Frost.
Yeah.
She's a cold
very,
one.
Very apt name.
Yeah. And here Bond is
Well, we get a gunfight, and I'm like, I sense this gunfight is VR.
oh yeah, I totally forgot.
Yeah, so I was like, whoa, Moneypenny's dead? And then I'm like, wait a minute. And then
We're in VR land.
Yeah, it's
Never comes up again.
No.
like
Well,
a
I guess it
training
does.
exercise. It does come up again.
In a very funny scene at the end.
Oh,
but here
I must
we
have forgot.
Yeah, we meet Q, full on promotion for John Cleese, and to Q.
I hope you're ready to be triggered. John Cleese does not like, the new political climate.
Yeah, I've heard
can't-
that. He's good in this role though. He's definitely fun.
He's fine. Yeah,
scammy.
he's a good successor.
Why
too.
do these guys always hate Bond so much?
Because they're just annoyed by him. He's always
And Bond keeps destroying all their technologies.
Yeah.
He's always cracking wise. He never reads the instruction manuals. He's always
So-
he's leading Bond through this like kind of warehouse area where
Yeah.
all the old gags from the past Bond films are there. Like they have Sean Connery's jetpack from Thunderball, and then
Alligator.
the alligator from I think Octopussy. But yeah, Bond goes
Wait,
like.
the ones when they run across the alligators when Roger Moore does it?
No, I think at one point he was in a mechanical alligator. It was like a submarine.
Yeah, it's like a fake alligator.
But yeah, and he turns on the jetpack. He goes, "Oh, does this thing still work?" And he's like, "Would you stop playing with these 007?"
Yeah.
He's like a little child. And then we get our first introduction, and this is where the first big
This
hints.
is when the movie takes a bit of a turn.
Yeah, it's like, okay. And he's like, your new car has arrived, 007. It's like
The thing goes up, there's nothing on it.
the Aston Martin Vanquish, but we call it the Vanish. He's got a Predator. He's got an invisible car, which is like
That's
a Predator
a bit
car.
much. But
It's a
okay. And then the other big, other than the invisible car, the other thing that's the big technology in this movie is he has a ring that emits a high frequency sound that can break glass.
Yeah, it's
pretty
like a kind of-
simple, but
I will
effective.
say not enough gadgets. Needs more
Yeah,
gadgets.
it's really just those two things.
Yeah.
Right? And then, the villain's got gadgets, which we will see.
Everybody has
Yeah, Power
gadgets, it
Glove.
seems. Oh,
Yeah. He's Inspector Gadget, really.
yeah. So now we move on to the Ice Hotel. This
Now, I hope you guys looked up if ice hotels exist for real like I did.
well, I know they do because there's one in Quebec, right?
yeah, I believe so.
It's famous.
Yeah, there's a few of them.
They're
all
not as elaborate as they appear in this James Bond
No, this
movie,
is
though.
absurd. The scale of this thing.
Also, later it's revealed that the whole thing is basically made of ice, and I mean, you gotta have some beam
Structural.
steel beams in there.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
the intro. This is the point where the movie takes a turn.
Yeah.
To be what I think people remember it as is like this horribly CGI laden, like ridiculous monstrosity.
Yeah. And then the bad guy, Gustav Graves, comes up in this ridiculous like car. That's
got, like, a rocket
super
car.
speeder. Yeah. That I mean, I've seen real cars like that, so maybe it is based on a real thing.
Yeah, he's trying to break like the land speed record or something
Yeah.
like that. He gets out of the rocket car dressed like an X-Men. He's like his outfit is
got the
like
jumpsuit.
yellow and black. He's got like an X-Men jumpsuit, and he's wearing these wraparound shades. So when he's talking to Bond, he looks like fucking Cyclops. It's so funny.
And he says a line to Bond like, "I'll sleep when I'm dead," or something like that.
Well, they already hint that, he doesn't sleep anymore.
Yeah.
So, could this play into things?
Yeah.
Now we get the big reveal. Rick Yoon shows up, Diamond Face himself. He shows up dressed like I Frankenstein. Like his robe that he's wearing.
Is he fighting gargoyles? Because if he's not I Frankenstein.
He's got this like leather duster with this gigantic hood and like shoulder flaps.
Yeah.
And then they reveal that, of course, Toby Stevens is using these genetic things, and it's actually Colonel Moon from the opening sequence.
Actually the Korean guy.
Yeah.
My question is, how does he have a British accent, and why does he use that British accent when he's talking to his friends who knows who he really is?
Well, it was hinted at the beginning of the movie that
That he studied at Oxford.
he has no accent, and that he grew up and he studied at Oxford and knows all about the.
Sure.
It's all digitally modified. I could eat a peach for hours.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like a microchip in his throat.
Yeah,
Can we do Face Off on this podcast? That would be fun, right?
Because it's like one of my favorite movies.
it's great. Gustav Graves has a demonstration of Icarus, which is again.
This comes out of nowhere.
Yeah,
Yeah,
It's
and
like,
then it becomes like the big thing at the end.
Yeah.
I have a device that can shoot a heat laser from space.
Yeah.
But he's playing it as if it's like, now we can bring sunlight to the other side of the world or whatever, and like
And
have
so they can grow crops at
all
night.
year round.
Checks out to me. I don't see how this could possibly be used for
It'd
anything
be
else.
some kind of super weapon that would destroy things.
Yeah, the use of evil satellites in Bond movies it's quite a cliche. I mean, GoldenEye.
It's true. Yeah, it was kind of the same thing.
It's some kind of geostorm machine.
Yeah, I mean, well, you come up with a better idea than
I
a
don't
giant
know.
laser
It's
from
like
space.
a laser from space. We're introduced to also Mr. Kill,
Yeah, Mr. Kill.
which is Gustav Graves'.
What does he say? That name's to die for.
Yeah. Oh my God.
I hear that all the time. Real funny,
the
real funny.
lines are all over this place, so we can't possibly say all of them.
But like
I enjoyed them.
Pierce Brosnan's dropping one-liners. Holly Berry's dropping one-liners. It's like everybody's dropping one-liners. It's like a Marvel movie.
In this scene, Halle Berry shows up again. She's breaking into a part of the Ice Palace, which is also like a factory of some kind.
It's like a diamond mine. Okay, so Gustav Graves
Everything.
pretends that he's like discovered a diamond mine in Iceland, but really he's getting these blood diamonds.
Yeah.
To fund, I don't know. Who knows?
Fund his fencing career.
Sure, why not?
But Jinx, Halle Berry, gets kidnapped.
Oh boy.
Yeah, and I mean she's there, I guess, to get Diamond Face. But yeah, so she gets kidnapped, and they're gonna shoot a laser at her slowly.
Like
that's
in,
their idea.
In Goldfinger.
Oh, that's a
Wait,
reference.
did we skip a sequence here because James Bond had sex
Yeah.
with
Rosamund Pike.
Mrs. Frost? Put your back into it.
Where it's like
Brosnan
yeah.
is way too old to be having
Yeah,
sex
that
with
scene.
these women.
That scene was uncomfortable because he's like coercing her into making out with him, and then later it's
She's
like, oh,
like,
they
"Oh."
have sex. It's like,
M told me this would happen.
M told me you'd sexually harass me.
Let's just get it over with.
Yeah.
What kind of a bad boss is M? Like, she knows it's
Yeah.
Yeah.
sending her out with this creep.
And then earlier in the movie, she's like, "You've never slept with another spy? What's wrong with you?"
Is James Bond a gentle lover, or is he like, "Ooh," and he's done?
Probably the second one, but I mean, who knows?
It's really funny that like every woman who sees Pierce Brosnan is like, look at that handsome guy. But Brosnan in this film is like really in dad bod mode between young Pierce Brosnan and like, I'm old and I'm having fun, Pierce Brosnan.
Yeah.
Let me put it this way: if I was in this movie, I would only find him attractive if I was like his age, closer to his age. Like if I was like in my 20s, it would be incredibly inappropriate.
Do you think he just has tons of puns during sex too? Like he just can't.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
They're like, oh, James, shut up.
Yeah, totally. But no, I do think Pierce Brosnan.
The train's going through the tunnel.
He is an attractive man.
That was a cold one, Mrs. Frost. Oh.
Wow.
No, he's
He's coming
definitely
again.
is.
I can't stop coming.
Hopefully I melted some of that ice. Miranda Frost is due for a thaw.
Am I in? Am I in?
What if he's a really... I'm just thinking, like, what if he's a really, like, bad lover? It's just like... All the women are just like, oh, God.
They're so embarrassed. Yeah.
Nice for him. Yes, you're in.
Oh, you're so good. You're so good.
Yeah, you were wonderful, James.
Did you come too? I think we did it together. I call that one the 00.
Oh, did I ever show you my 00 face?
That's just as bad as any of the puns in the movie.
It is.
Well, there was the one in the last movie that ended the movie when he's boning Denise Richards and her name is like, Christmas Jones. And then he goes, oh, I thought Christmas only came once a year.
Oh, I thought you were going to say it looks like Christmas came early this year.
No. And I remember the whole audience just went, ugh.
Okay, so Halle Berry gets rescued, obviously.
Every James Bond, you know how he like shoots the camera at the beginning? The end with just him coming.
He does, because that's
just close up of his face. Like, ooh.
It's like MacGruber.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Okay, I think this laser scene is my favorite thing in the movie.
Was it the Mr. Kill fight with the laser?
So he saves Halle Berry just in time. This thing is about to like slice her ear off. And there's these mechanical arms shooting lasers, and they all go crazy all over the place. And Bond and this guy are like somehow dodging them and fighting at the same time. It's really a sight to behold. And I'm pretty sure
Did you
there's a lot
notice
of
that
CG.
Mr. Kill pulls his hair pick out of his hair
Yes.
to stab James Bond with
Yes,
it?
that was set up earlier. I was like, he's got a comb in his hair. That might come up later.
He's got to
and it did.
throw it or something.
Yeah,
but,
and so he has his mouth open and a laser like goes through the back of his head and through his mouth, which is pretty ridiculous.
And then they like cut his hand off to use it for the security thing, which is pretty funny.
That was funny. And then they throw it down and it makes a funny sound effect.
Yeah, she kind of tosses the hand away. It's like,
yeah, it goes like that.
So yeah, I don't know what happens now. It's like,
Well, Halle Berry
he
gets
jumps in the
captured
rocket
again.
car.
yeah, I think he
He tries to escape in the rocket car.
captures Gustav Graves, and then Miranda Frost shows up and is, she's a bad guy.
Surprise,
Yeah,
surprise. She's
surprise.
working with the bad guy. She was the one who betrayed him at the beginning of the movie.
Bond escapes in the rocket car, and he turns on Icarus, and it's like this big CGI laser beam chasing this rocket car across the ice.
Which is ridiculous. And then we, of course, get the windsurfing
it's like the wind car goes off like the edge of a cliff, and he's holding on, and then
he
laser
pulls the roof off the car, and he's like, and he straps his feet into it somehow.
and then gets the parachute, and then Gustav Graves cuts off the edge of the cliff with the laser, and then it causes this big wave. Now this is the scene that
That most people
broke this movie,
point
or
to, yeah.
the one that everybody remembers as being the low point.
When he's a CGI man, he kind of looks like a sim. Like, and it's far away, but it's bad. And then you the close up is like,
It's definitely my favorite part, where it's him in front of the green screen and he's like, whoa!
yeah,
It's so great, and they just don't cut together well at all.
No.
So it's just as bad as like the Escape from LA green screen.
Yeah,
Like,
you're right. It's just bad in a different way.
yeah, and then you cut to the CG version, and that's horrible in in a way that's, I don't know, much worse. It feels. You couldn't do this at the time, and it's just like a bad decision on the director's part. Like, I insist that we're doing this.
Yeah,
scene.
he should have seen the writing on the wall and maybe cut it, because it's not like it has to be in the movie or anything. But I'm sure glad it is.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Okay, so we got to get to the finale, which is Well, there's actually 2 finales.
Oh, there's like a big...
Yeah, because he jumps into his invisible car and goes back to the ice
so
palace.
there's the ice palace is melting, and Halle Berry captured again. They put her in like a sealed room, I guess.
You think
which makes no sense.
If it's all ice, like...
how is she sealed in the room? I guess they had a non-ice room.
all the doors are made of ice, too. It looks
But
like
then
I could break them.
Again, if it's filling up with water because it's melting, I don't understand the physics. Where's the water coming from if it's a sealed room? Because if it's not a sealed room, then you could escape through the melting part.
Yeah.
Anyway, I was getting a real like Titanic vibe in this scene. Filling up with water, I gotta save my friend. And then we get the invisible car. So it's him versus, is it Diamond Face?
Diamond Face.
Yeah, Diamond Face.
Also has like a tricked out like spy car for some reason.
Sure.
They have a huge
not?
chase on the ice, which is just so over the top.
It goes on for a really long time.
It goes on for so long.
But it's pretty fun.
And then they have a chase inside the ice palace, which this fucking set must have been massive. Like it looks like
it was made of ice, Colin.
I mean, it looks like something out of Batman and Robin, like the Mr. Freeze set or something.
Ice to see you,
It looks a little cooler.
which Mr. Freeze never says in the movie.
It's true. That was a
Really?
line in The Simpsons.
Oh,
Simpsons,
to make Bane.
yeah. Well,
But yeah, so the funniest part obviously happens when he's about to ram into him in his car, Diamond
Rick
Face.
Yoon is about to ram into Pierce
And
Brosnan.
He turns the invisible thing on and he goes, "Whoa!" And
It's
he drives.
very confusing.
He drives,
It looks like Rick Ewan just starts screaming for no reason
Yeah.
and drives off the balcony.
and then they cut back and he turns the invisibility cloak off and he's like 5 inches in front of where he was.
Yeah, he sort of backed up while he was invisible, and Rick Yoon thought he was ramming him and actually just drove off like the side of
It's kind of
the...
hard to explain, but it's a
Yeah.
really funny scene.
Then he shoots a chandelier and falls onto Rick Yoon.
Yeah, and then so
It's like, now you've got more diamonds in your face.
yeah.
But your face is bloody because you're dead.
That is not an official James
How about
Bond
some more
line.
diamonds?
How about some more diamonds in your face, you prat?
You fucker.
Fucking asshole!
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, this would have happened to you because maybe you shouldn't be living.
Shouldn't be living in an ice palace.
No.
Maybe you
Shouldn't have
absolutely
tried
not.
to ram me with your car.
Okay, so now we get the final scene, which is on an airplane.
Mommy, can I go home?
And we
Is
forgot
the
to
movie over
mention
yet?
that bad guy has a electro glove. He kind of uses it on Halle Berry earlier in the movie, right?
Those effects are very funny when she's like, "Ugh."
Yeah, it's like it's a little bit like the,
Electricity has never looked
It
good.
looks like he's okay. Obviously, he's got the Nintendo Power Glove that he has like a trackball on as well, so he can kind of control Icarus.
Yeah.
And then he's also wearing this sort of like Iron Man / like Rocketeer sort of upper.
he wants
part.
to have this like robot suit. It makes no sense, but it's really funny.
And he's
looking.
got these gigantic, like goofy VR goggles that he's wearing. It's hilarious.
Yeah, I don't know. So they sneak on the plane. Halle Berry, of course, has a showdown with Rosamund Pike,
Which is
and
pretty good, actually.
Yeah, it's a good
It's shot
fight.
pretty well.
She stabs her through a book and says, like, "Go back to the library" or something like that. And no, that's not what happens. But
She said, "Read this one. It's the Art of War." And she kicks
right,
it.
yeah, there's some kind of pun. And then bad guy's dad shows up and he's like, "My son," and of course
so
he
such a weirdly emotional
yeah, of course he
what
kills
did you do to
them.
yourself?
Yeah. I mean, we saw that coming, and then the whole plane just goes nuts.
It's like caught in the Icarus beam, and it's like
People
melting
are
and getting
flying out
destroyed.
windows.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. So yeah,
It's actually great.
Pierce Brosnan and Gustav Graves get in a fight, and they're flying all over the place. Then he gets like sucked into the engine, and it's fucking great.
Yeah, he's like, "There's only 2 parachutes left." He throws one out the window. Now there's only one, and he puts it on, and then Pierce Brosnan ejects his parachute, like he jumps at him and hits the button,
And then it pulls him
and
into
then
the
it pulls
engine.
him into the engine room before electrifying him first.
Yeah,
And
it's-
then there's like kind
I
of
don't
like a
know.
boring scene where him and Halle Berry have to get off.
they just have to escape. The only thing they have,
They
I
get
guess,
off
in the
already.
cargo hold, there's like a helicopter. Okay, now
It just happens to be an helicopter.
this is. I don't think helicopters work this way, but they. I don't know. The
He's
helicopter.
saying you can't start it in the air while it's falling.
They're inside the helicopter. The helicopter falls out the back of this cargo plane, and they somehow manage to start it mid-fall or like right before the ground. I don't
Sure,
think.
I-
I'm going to say I don't think this is possible.
let us know if this is possible. We got to get the Mythbusters on this.
It's like, no, we killed 6 stuntmen trying this.
I read in the IMDb trivia that apparently the Mythbusters tested the hovercrafts from the opening scene. Because they're like, it didn't exist, but technically it could exist.
No, they did exist, but they were driving them over mines. So at the beginning, that's what they're saying. They were driving them.
They wanted to see if the mines would activate. So wait, did the Mythbusters die?
No, but they did try it.
They tried it,
They
yeah.
drove it over like explosives to see if it would like trigger the explosives. And it worked. They said it's possible.
Neat. Okay.
I don't like the Mythbusters. More like Dream Killers. Just let things be.
I'd only seen it a few times.
Well, now we get a scene. It's a Moneypenny. It's revealed to be Moneypenny using
this
the VR.
scene is hilarious.
She is like making out with Bond. Pierce Brosnan comes into her office, and it's like always been led up.
I'm like,
over
what
the years.
fuck? And then I'm like, oh no.
Yeah.
We're in a hologram.
It's like their
And
relationship has always been sort of more hints and innuendo over the years.
She is going into the using government technology to get off. And
How did she program this?
I don't know. Well, it's like the holodeck on Star Trek. You think they're
You
not
can
Do you
using
do
think they were
anything.
like, please help us do these CG effects? Why are we spending it all on this hologram technology?
She convinced John Cleese to be like, we need to train our operatives to be resistant to James Bond. So can you create a program where James Bond tries to have sex with you?
And then
I'll
John
te-
Cleese is like, oh, I've already made it.
And how about I just test it? I mean, why not?
I've been using it for years.
Yeah, and then we cut to the final scene, which is James Bond and Halle Berry making out on diamonds.
There's like they've like landed.
Ow.
Yeah,
I know,
exactly.
but they've like landed. It's like a shack at the edge of a cliff, and it's like the helicopter's
It's in the
there.
middle of nowhere.
So they've landed this helicopter, and then it's gone right into this shack to just start boning.
It was just there.
I guess.
And he's like, do you want me to take it out? No, leave it in longer. Come on, guys. And is talking about diamonds in her belly button. And yeah, it ends with she's like, I like to be good sometimes. And he goes, only when you're bad. Or I'm fucking
Wah, wah.
You're even good even when you're bad. It's a really lame line to go
It's
out on that
lame.
makes no sense. It's not even a pun.
And then we get to credits, and an even worse version of the Madonna song is playing over the end credits.
Yeah,
I didn't think that was
It's
possible.
like a remix.
So
Anyway, that's Die Another Day.
yeah,
I feel like it was a really fun movie. And it had actual good scenes in it. It's not just all like funny bad. Like the fencing scene, the opening scene, action scene's fun.
I would say for the first half until they get up to the Ice Palace, it's actually just entertaining. Like it's cheesy.
Yeah.
It's the most entertaining, I think, of the Brosnan Bonds, which I found to be really boring. I was never a fan of Brosnan as Bond, but
Definitely of the ones
the
I've
movies
seen.
are very boring. And this was like, I've had a change of heart. I kind of dismissed it when I initially saw it. But rewatching, I'd probably watch it again.
I'd absolutely watch this again. I thought it was a fun time, and like I said, even when it takes a turn, you can enjoy it as a entertainingly cheesy kind of bad movie, but still fun. It's super over the top.
What about you, Justin?
Yeah, it's a fun one. Doesn't deserve the hate that it has.
I don't think so either.
Yeah.
It was I don't know. People say this is the worst one of all time, which
That is bananas.
that is not true. Not true.
No
Go
way.
back and rewatch the old ones before you say that.
They're so dull. That's the issue. Like, I guess people who want James Bond to be cool, which he has very rarely been, are disappointed by this, but that's the only explanation I got.
Yeah, I think it's just the second half of the movie.
Well, also when this came out, you said like people were getting tired of Bond being silly, and they were ready for it to take a more
But he
serious
was always
tone.
silly. Like, if you look at like the Roger Moore ones,
Oh,
even,
yeah.
like, period. Like,
Yeah, but like look at what's happening in movies in the mid 2000s, like the Nolan Batmans and stuff. It's like everything has to be serious. We can't have fun and we can't be campy anymore.
Yeah.
I really hope the next James Bond gets to be a little bit campier.
Yeah, I hope they bring some of that back in for sure. It has to. It depends on the actor as well. Like I think they tailor.
Jim Carrey.
No, he can play the bad guy.
They well, what the hell was I going to say? But I think at this point, in time, the Austin Powers movies had already come out.
Yeah.
I think Goldmember was actually playing trailers for this movie when it came out. And so they were kind of skewering the Bond movies and all the kind of cliches and things. So it's kind of hard to do, a Bond movie while not kind of making it look ridiculous.
Yeah.
So I think they kind of ended Pierce Brosnan's run on this movie, and they're like, all right, we got to change it up for the next one, which they did very well with Casino Royale. But I can understand why, but
it needs a reappraisal.
In retrospect, I think this is way more entertaining than people remember.
Yes. And if you're living in Canada, this is available on the Crave TV app. And I think that means in the States it's on HBO Max. I'm not sure.
That sounds about right.
But yeah, Crave has all the Bond movies, or most of them anyway. And if you want to email the podcast, we're at nosuchthing@gmail.com, and you can tweet at us at nosuchthingpod. And if you want more regular content, you can get content every week if you sign up on the Patreon at the $5 level and up. We have a little bonus episode every 2 weeks. And next episode, we're talking about Sandra Bullock and a movie that she did recently.
Mostly about her.
Yeah.
The Lost City.
The Lost City with
It's
Channing
Lost City,
Tatum.
but we also do a little bit of a career retrospective on Sandra Bullock.
Old Sandy D.
Yes. And if you want to find me, I'm on Twitter and Instagram at April Atmansky.
I'm on Twitter at DeClueJ, DECLOUX, the letter J. You can also find me on Letterboxd at Justin DeClue.
You can find me on Twitter, Sergeant Zima, SGTZIMA.
And that's it for this week. Thanks for listening. I don't have a clever pun to go out on, but maybe you should go see what's happening in your car.
Cars! I can tell.
I don't have a car.
I guess you do a collection
None of us have cars.
Because we can't say it, so we can't have one.
I just want to see, what if he's going to drive to a bar with R in his car? A bar with car. A bar with,
He can't even.
a bar with R in my car.
I'm April Atmansky.
I'm Justin DeClue.
I'm Colin Cunningham.
And remember this.
April.